Hi everybody. This week we are at Wylihof, the red and yellow course. I did not record any little intro or outro notes for this week, so to spice it up, you got me. You saw me hit some drives there. I've been working on my swing speed and definitely got it up, getting it higher. You'll see that doesn't necessarily translate to better golf. But hey, here we are. Get some longer irons, get some wedges, some hybrids, some 5-woods. This course is a toughie for me because right now I'm kind of facing a two-way miss with my driver. Sometimes I'll slice it off the map and sometimes I'll get around and get a nice little draw. As you see there, I can also have a good duck hook at times, so we're in for a ride. I do have a weird round for this. I actually had an earlier round. That round didn't have an impact screen, so since this round does, this is the round that I'm using for the week. Let's go. Got a mark fairly straight out in the fairway there. The wind's kind of from behind, and I really, on this opening par 5, just want to get something in a playable spot. Almost missed the ball. Yeah, just look at the impact on the driver there, but puts me pretty good position. 5-wood with the tailwind. This could roll out nicely if I get it right. I don't, so that's fun. Out of the rough for hybrid, so it is giving me some penalty on my strike, but yeah, here I'm like, oh, you know what? It's too much. 185 with the tailwind in the roll. 5-iron's gonna be plenty. We'll see. Get a pretty good hold of this one off the toe a little bit, and it rolls right past the flag and up into the rough. Could have run a 6, but probably should have just choked up that 5. These are delicate. You got to really get these 10 for 10, 18 for 18 throughout the round. Chipping within 10 yards, getting in that 8-foot circle for a gimme. Running away, but I do make it. Par that hole and come to second hole. This is handicap number 2. You see my mark there is kind of on the left side of the fairway, plenty of room to fade it back to the right. And this is one where I get around on it. I probably towed it a little bit, didn't show the impact, probably towed it a little bit to get that spin and didn't fade. So luckily I found this weird little spot down here. 133 8-iron out of the rough. Should be a pretty straightforward shot. Man, I get that way too low. And that's just with no spin, flying right through. So that's fun. Now, again, chipping, you got to get these 10 for 10, 18 for 18, 100 for 100. There is that swale or that hump there, which complicates this shot particularly. You see, it really shoots it off to the left, doesn't let it stop. So, yeah, already behind on my preferred chipping stats. The driver stats are going to be wonky all the time. I'm really figuring those out, and I'm like, oh, what happened there? That's a slight pull. And I have my own thoughts on how the putting alignment on these trackmen work. Anyways, that's a bogey. Come up to third hole here. I aim that on the sort of rough on the left side of the hole here because there's fairway on both sides. And with that, I managed to super draw this way over onto that left side, but I don't quite get to the fairway. So now I'm 163 with pretty hefty rough penalty and that tucked pin. Really, I just want to get this up and over to the right of the flag. I had a pretty decent shot, but not the height that I need. Catches these trees. Yeah, it's a little toey. And it's a mess. This is not where you want a 70-yard shot to be. I'm just hoping I can get this chippable back to the green. Punch a little 9, make sure I leave it right of that tree, and catch the rough. This is also going to be a tough shot here, 28 yards. Without my full spin to stop it, I really want to lob this up and salvage a bogey would be great. That feels a little hard. Not quite the loft that I really needed for that, and I'm over. Not ideal. So 9 yards. I'm putting this now. This has to get in the circle. Yeah, just have to get this in the circle and walk away with a double. Oof, almost drain it to save a bogey, and I put it out of the circle. Brutal. Absolutely brutal start. 9 feet away. Trying to get my feel for this little short putt now. And I just power it through that break. So triple bogey. Not the best. 4th hole. Pretty straightforward hole. Got it angled up that left side. Hopefully find my usual shape. And that's a draw. When I don't want a draw. Ay, caramba. Just too toey. Gonna get that draw with that super toe hit all the time. So, really tough 5-wood out of this thick high rough. I'm lucky to get it over this grass. A little bit to the right, I might have got some run on it, but I just have my scorecard down here to kind of keep track on where I'm at. But 43 yards, 77% power, so we need a little extra oomph, and I really need height to stop this. Great shot. Super happy with that. That's saving a stroke right there. So on to the 5th hole. Managed to par on 4 with that shot. 159. Doing a 7-iron. Should be about the right distance. Don't need to crank it too extra hard, but you see the impact. That means I got it fat, basically. If I'm getting it that high on a 7-iron, that's really a fat shot. Digging the club down, and comes up way short. Now check this putt out. I'm way off the green. With the fairways on most of these holes, unless, and I get it in that circle there, unless there's a lot of undulation, unless there's a lot of slope, you can get away with putting, and it is almost no punishment on the speed, because the end of the putt, when the putt's dying, is still going to be on the green. So been putting a lot more from those distances. Anyways, 5-wood here, because if I get my driver too loosey-goosey, it can really get out to the right, and on the distance of this hole, just the consistency of the 5-wood's what's needed. But really, I'm cranking my 5-wood. That flew 239, that 5-wood. Just really, that swing speed training's got that 5-wood flying, and I got to get used to the new numbers, but it's good. It's a good problem to have. 109 out of the rough. It's a P wedge. It's a way back pin. This is a pretty good shot if it stops. Just outside of the pin, or outside of the 8-foot circle. No. 8-foot putt down 2 inches and just pulled it and put it through the circle. 8 feet is stopping the ball before it gets to the screen in the sim. So you got to remember that and stop putting it through the circle. So another loose drop shot there, not ideal. Really not ideal to get a bogey on that. Should have been easy par from that position. Anyways, 7th hole, big par 5, full crack, and yeah, 2-way miss, getting that draw. It's the toe is really what's giving me that huge draw there. It's just if I get center of the face, it'll be way more predictable. Just laying this up, really nothing else to do. I want to find this in a playable position with a 9-iron out of some thick rough, and pretty good shot all in all. Now 131. This is a par 5, so not the worst shape, because the shots were all playable, but this would be awesome to drop this in the 8-foot circle and walk away with a bird after being in that position. We'll see. Looks maybe a bit deep. A lot of deep. Yeah, I went 140. Swing changes, man. Your distances can creep around on you. It's tough to keep that feel. But anyways, 12 yards. I'm putting this again, and you see it drops pretty significantly right. I've got it on the left. Just want to leg it into the circle and happily leave it a hair short. God, awful putting, mediocre driving off the tee, but awful putting so far. Usually my putting weights, if not direction, my putting weight's a lot better. So it is what it is. We'll keep trucking along. Another 8-footer, down 1 inch, braking a little to the right, get the speed right. That brake should pull it in. Didn't read it. Felt like a really good weighted putt. Didn't read it. So here we are left again for par. Creeping it. Got it. Thankfully I got it. Man, I would have complained forever if that one didn't go in. Missed a track. All right, this one, 223 to the hole. I'm hitting my 4 hybrid. It is down below the tee a fair bit, 30 yards down, or sorry, 30 feet down. Luckily this doesn't fade anymore, just a push, sort of a toe push stops it from slicing off the map, but left with a real difficult position here. Sort of thin green, 30 yards. Really want to plop this just on the green and get it up high and let it stop, and I just powered over, landed on the other end of the green. Brutal shot. The trajectory there is not the worst. I just hit it way too hard. So chip this back. This has to get in that circle. And yeah, frustration is mounting. Sits in the rough, doesn't roll out, and I'm hurting. Trickle this one in. Double bogey. Par 3 double bogey in that position. Anyways, moving forward. This is kind of a fun one. I can actually clear that water with the tailwind. Now, with a headwind, not so much. Look at that little pop weirdo. Top pop. 120 yards. Whatever the heck that was. Moving on. Left 276 to the 5 wood. This definitely ain't getting there. I just got to keep it in play on the map somewhere so that I'm not facing another huge number. Bunker's not that bad. Rough's not that bad because I'm on the right side. I'm not short-siding myself. 43 yards. Pretty standard shot with enough green to run with. Get it over the bunker and let it run through. Good distance. That was just a little too open, a little too toey, but good distance. Happy with that. And maybe even sink a putt for par. Look at that. So amazing. With a drive like that on tough hole, whatever. Take what I can get. Now, I just do 5 wood on this because it gets really tight. If you get too close to that sort of pinch point, you really got to stay dead center. So I stay back with the 5 wood to get that wider shot and just, draw it around. Not used to the draw shape and definitely not that much with my 5 wood, so that's rare. But tough 5-iron shot now. Punching, keeping this low. There's some crap to go over. And just hit a terrible 30-yard shot. It was a lot to ask to be able to get over that junk and also not hit a tree. So maybe it's not the worst case that I bung that up. Now pitching wedge from 98 yards with some rough penalty. Looks pretty good distance. Hops on the green. If maybe a couple yards shorter would have been stopped in time to be real close. But 35-foot putt. Be great to just put in the circle and finish. There we go. Ay caramba. Finish with a bogey. Oh man. So +6 on the tournament right now. That ain't feeling good. Another terrible drive, terrible impact. see that club speed 108. I'm over swinging. I've been speed training and I'm trying to smash it here. So this is the result. Don't play with your overswing. Play with an easy swing, but you know, easier said than done. Really good 5-iron here. 196 yard 5-iron out to the back of the green, pretty much pin high. Putting this again and should save a par here. Hopefully save a par here. Index 1. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling that. Yeah. That's good for business. All right, hole 12. So that's a birdie on the index 1 hole. So it's like getting 2 strokes. That's awesome. 12th hole, par 3. 9-iron, right distance. Maybe probably an 8-iron over that water for me, but with swinging so hard, I'm used to the hard swing, at least for this round. Went with the 9, not too bad, no harm done. If I can just plop it in the circle, almost drain another one, but managed to keep par. Move on. Par 5, 13th hole. Just get anything out there and play. And again, look at that ball. Just awful strike, awful angle. 100-yard drive. Like, that ain't gonna do well. Luckily, I'm not completely SOL, and I can advance it forward with 6-iron there, so I don't have to go back onto the tee, lose even the 100 yards I got. So, you know, again, I'll take what I can get. 260, perfect 5-wood, could get there, perfect 5-wood with some roll, but realistically, I'm just kind of dump this safely somewhere for me to pitch back over. This is fine, but it's a little too open. That's a little too dumpy. Need to keep those straighter for sure, but another tough one. 52 yards. I'm a 56 degree on the marker there, but it's actually my 60. And if it stops, it does. Look at that. Pull off a par. You know, those approach shots, if you can stick it from 50 yards within the 8-foot circle, you're going to do well. All right. 6-iron, 174. Wind off the left, just a little wind. Totally chunky. You see the impact position. It's as if it almost missed, but yeah, that's just super fat. And again, this is my 60. I just didn't change the club on the indicator there. 52 yards. Will this one roll out for me? It will. Now, that's on. That's helping. Those shots are helping. Trying to feel what's going on with my driver. I'm like, whoa. Anyways, 15th hole. Put a better swing on this one. Still, this is open, but at least I make contact, and the toe stops it from way off the map. Keeps it in somewhat playable space. 270, and now 139. I got a 7-iron with a huge penalty out of the rough, and this feels like nearly a shank. This is just a thin, almost shank. Bad. Leaves me 84 yards. It's still out of the rough. Pretty full 56 here. Hopefully I can get it up to stop, because I'm going to not have the spin. Yeah, I get the distance right. A little bit of a pull, but like for 86 yards, I'll take that all day. And have at least an opportunity to save par on 11 feet. Put it out just a little bit too much. You see it registered a little bit of a closed putter on the impact, but it was close. So bogey there, coming on 16, staying with driver. Gotta just get this. Look at all that water out there, but it doesn't help you much to lay up because you're faced with a super hard shot. So my driver has the distance. Just get it somewhere over here, and it does pretty good to get 270 on this angle. Be nice in the fairway, but it's fine. 60 yards, full on 60. If I get the right trajectory, this should be good. It's not going to sit the way I need it, but pretty good shot. Maybe if I was in the fairway, that would have actually like sucked back a little bit more, but pretty good shot. Now this is a pretty big hump, pretty big swell here, 20 feet to try to get it. Look at it peel off, but hopefully that stays. Terrifying. Oh man, not the best putting day, not the best driving day, and I'm +4 somehow. Net +4. All right, 531 driver, par 5, 17th, another just 106. I'm still at 106 mile an hour club and just can't get the center of the face. Can't get the face pretty much. That is what it is. I elect 5 wood here, just going to advance this as much as possible. Kind of treat this now like a shorty par 4. And I'm trying to move pretty quick. You see, I have the timer up at the top, so I'm trying to like move it along. So I haven't cut here, just to kind of show the slight sense of urgency as I'm trying to finish before the timer ticks down. You know, rather than extend my session, try to just sneak it in. Pretty decent 5-wood shot, carrying 231. I would have loved to carry 227 and keep it in the fairway, but I'm in the rough. Pitching wedge, gotta go pretty good, but I got a tailwind and it's gonna run out a little more than usual. So it's kind of a good club, especially if they get that run. No real run, a little bit, but needed a little more. We still have a putt. I mean, this is for birds, the long shot to drop, but hopefully at least salvage a par here. 30 feet. Sniffs the hole. Does sniff pie the hole, but all right, 18. Par 4, wind coming off the right. Sticking driver here. Not the widest of landing areas out there with the way I'm driving it today, but I'm sticking driver. I get the club on 107 mile an hour swing. Like, my ball speed's not great, my smash factor's not great, but I'm swinging hard today. Anyways, leaves me 120. Another hard pitching wedge here. Need all of this pitching wedge with the rough penalty, about 10% rough penalty or so. That's not all of the pitching wedge, but yeah, rejects it off of that slope there. Needed a little harder pitching wedge swing there, or really just a 9-iron, a high 9-iron. But see if I can get this chip for a par. This will sit, if this will stop. Smooth swing, it's moving, it's gonna stop. Oh, it does. Oh man, okay. And that stops the bleeding. I net out at +3. Got a stroke in that last hole. So +3 for the week. Messy round. Lots of strokes left on the table, but hey, we're learning here, right? We'll see you guys next week, and yeah, thanks for watching.